Well, I'm here in Nashville, Tennessee again. World of Asphalt is going on. I saw you there today. I'm here with Michael Melicia of what's the name of your company, Michael?
Coastal Paving and Excavating, Monterey, California.
All right, and we're just here to have an honest conversation and step up to the line and talk about what it is to be in the trades and to encourage you to hear some of his story and how he got where he is and how you might be able to follow along in that and some things that he might have to share with you. So, welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's a little cold in Nashville. I was hoping for some more sun, but this is part of the territory.
Well, for me, I'm from Pennsylvania. This is actually pretty warm. So
really?
Right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's well, I guess it was raining when we left, but anyways, yeah, it's pretty cool so far.
Yeah. What do you think of Word of Asphalt today?
That was cool. We were there.
Warm?
We were there. We were only there for like 2 hours. Like as you know, it's my son's birthday, so he was on every single tractor.
I saw that.
Dude, just freaking chaos everywhere we go. But he had a ball. I don't think there was a better way to spend his birthday. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, mission accomplished, really. So, but it was cool. We were just at PAVE-X, so it's like for me and for my wife and daughter and mom who were with us, they don't care. But
Right.
for me, it's like I obviously play on this stuff for a living and see it every day, and then was at PAVE-X. So, but for him, it was like, I mean, the kid was just in heaven. So
Yeah.
that was mission accomplished, man.
Well, it's funny. I was walking around there. I was by myself this morning walking around, and I had to chuckle. I brought my son to a lot of these things recently. He's 15. And most recently we were in Georgia at a thing called Construction Ready Career Expo. And it was actually for like high school kids, kind of like a recruiting and the competition. So they could actually see all the different trades, whether it's plumbing, excavation, carpentry, all that stuff. And so we were walking around different things and checking it out. But so he was there with me at that, and it was really cool. And today I was kind of walking around by myself and looking at all the heavy equipment and thinking, I really have not grown up that much because I still think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So it was. They had a lot of stuff going on today, which I thought was nice.
Yeah.
So,
dude, those simulators are unreal.
Yeah.
That's what struck me the most. I got to get one.
So do you think that like those in particular, with your business and what you're doing, is that something that's really going to help you in training people? Do you think seriously?
Absolutely, because I've always wondered why we haven't had that, and I went down rabbit holes in my mind like I do often. But I've wondered why we haven't had those earlier.
Yeah.
Because the only way to get experience in construction, specifically our type of construction, well, I guess any construction, is to do it. Like it's not something you can really learn on paper. Like some of it you can,
Right.
yields and whatever other calculations and so forth, but that doesn't teach you how to actually perform it. And especially with equipment operating in general, that's a whole like art to the trade that we're in. The trade's one thing. You could learn that on paper somewhat, but then to actually operate equipment that could take lives and do some serious damage.
Yeah.
Like, to have that was like, that is like insurance at its best,
Yeah.
to be able to put somebody on a machine that, and I was playing with them. They feel real, man. Like
Really?
and they score you, they track you. You have each employee's thing. Like, I'm not sitting here paid to talk about them, but kudos to them, man. Like,
Yeah.
it was badass. So for me, like that was one takeaway from World of Asphalt for me is I'm getting one of those back at home, because you see these guys like you can only go off of what someone says too. Like a resume, anybody can make that these days.
Right.
Fairly easy, but you get out on the field and it's like they've already done their hiring, and we live in the state of California too. So it's like once you're, even
Yeah.
the 90-day probation thing, it only goes so far. But you get out there and somebody's just a total turd. It's like now you have this whole process of you can't demote them.
Right.
You can't be like, well, we hired you as an operator at whatever an hour,
Right.
but you're only as good at or shouldn't say that, but you're more of a shoveler.
Yeah.
But the reality is that's just the way it goes. And to be able to say, okay, show us before you even set foot on a job and have the opportunity to make major mistakes, that's a piece of gold in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the amount of risk that it eliminates
Yeah.
is kind of huge.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, just in reading about you and following you on Instagram, you have a couple of companies.
Yeah.
You're doing a couple of things. But how did Michael get his start? Like, how did you, because I think that's the thing that everybody asks. Because if I would look back when I was 18 or 19, where I am today, I wouldn't have known what the things were to do to get me here.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that first thing that you said, you just got to do it.
Yeah.
But how did you get where you are?
I mean, well, a simple answer, and I know you probably don't want a simple answer, but to start it, a simple answer.
That's all right. We have an hour. I'll just keep asking you questions.
So a simple answer would be I woke up one day, I was making $13.85 an hour fixing poop pumps for a company in Denver, Colorado. And that was my first and only W-2 paid job. I was working 60 hours a week or so forth, maybe 70, whatever, some 40, whatever it was. But $13.85 an hour, fixing shit pumps, poop on you, like disgusting. Like,
yeah.
I wasn't happy about it. But I was, making, what I thought at the time actually was funny is, like, I was excited. It was like decent money.
Right.
But I woke up one day and I'm like, if I put 60 hours a week into doing my own thing, I know I could make, I think my checks were like $485, maybe $500. I'm like, I know I could go seal coat a driveway and make $500 if I put 60 hours into like knocking on doors, like selling.
Right.
Like I know I could do that. So I woke up one day and I'm like, fuck, I'm just gonna go try. And honestly, I quit my job and I went and did it. I just went and started knocking on doors and started getting driveways and doing driveways, and that's where it all started.
So you say that, I mean, I'm interrupting you here.
Yeah,
but
you're good.
You say that's a simple answer, but one of the things that you kind of glossed over, I think that that is a big struggle for a lot of people, is that fear aspect, because there had to be some fear, because here you're getting a W-2, you're getting a regular paycheck, but now it depends on you.
Yeah.
Like, that's different. So how did you overcome that? Or were you just like, screw it?
Well, because I think what people don't realize is a W-2, the safety that it's a false sense of security, because the guy you're working for can go out of business just like you could.
That's the truth.
And they could lay you off to save their business too.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, to me, you're almost less secure. Why would you not want to rely on yourself to make it happen? Yeah. I'm not going to rely on another man to make it happen or another woman to make it happen. Like, this is my life and this is my journey, and it's best served in my hands. Like no one has my interest better than I have my interest.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go make it happen for myself. And I think that at the end of the day, what are we all put on this planet for anyways? Like, really, what are we put here for? We're not here to make money. So at the end of the day, if you're homeless on the street but you're happy, then you're fine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of my motivation at the not my motivation, but that was kind of like what kept me like you only fail if you quit, and you only fail if you accept that it's failure.
Come on.
Like, I'm just here to live and enjoy my life and give my kids a better life than I had.
Yeah.
And so that was my motivation. I wanted to buy my mom a house. I wanted to give my kids a good life. I wanted to experience the things that I wanted to experience growing up. And the only way to really do that, I knew, was to create it. And again, no one's going to create it for you. A W-2 job, it could be taken from you just as fast, if not faster, than a business.
I think it's really funny to hear you say that, because I remember I was probably a year or 6 months into going out on my own, and I had that revelation where I was like, oh, my old boss who I used to work for, I got a weekly paycheck for. If the clients don't pay him, he couldn't pay me. Just like if I don't get paid, I don't get paid.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So you made that shift. You started seal coating driveways. Mm-hmm. We're in your origin story now. So I don't know if you're an anti-hero or if you're a hero. We'll see when we get to the end. But so then where do you go from there?
So I moved back home, to my hometown, Monterey, which is where my wife was. She never left. I kind of knew her from growing up, but we started talking, I had wanted to move back anyways, and I moved back shortly after we kind of got together. So I packed 2 suitcases up, headed back home, and I started the knocking on doors, seal codes. And she lived with her mother at the time. I was staying with my cousin on her couch, knocking on doors, doing driveway, so forth. We ended up moving in together into a 1-bedroom apartment in Salinas, California. Then I had my she basically got pregnant. We're about 2 years in at this point, 3 years in maybe, and I was gonna quit what I was doing because it wasn't just smooth sailing. It was hard.
Yeah.
It was really hard, and it was up and down. And so I almost went to get a W-2 job, and I actually applied for it. And it's ties into my story, but where I applied, they had me go out and try out like the next day or two, and went to go rake some asphalt on a patch that they were doing. And obviously the foreman or the raker on the job took the rake away from me as I was raking to kind of, and basically tells the guy like, I don't know how to rake asphalt or whatever, but kind of played that. Yeah. Whether he was threatened or whether I really just don't know how to rake asphalt, whatever, I don't care.
Well, for not knowing how to rake it, you've gone pretty far.
Exactly, which we could get into that, at any point. But so long story short, they don't hire me. I ended up, that basically for me, like it was kind of like another wake-up call. Like that's not it. Like that's not the answer.
Yeah.
Like just stick with what you're doing. Like now you just have to fucking make it work. And you got a kid now.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Isn't it funny how kids change things?
Dude, they change things like night and day.
Yeah.
Like everything's different.
I feel like when I had kids, my entire perspective on life changed in an instant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like it did, but when I was growing up, I wanted children so bad.
Really?
That I feel like it was just, it didn't change. It just kind of solidified what I was already feeling.
Yeah.
So.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. I mean, I know what you're saying though. Like it does change everything, but like that's what I was searching for, like very like desperately and deeply. So like I wanted like I was never the guy to like, because so growing up, like I moved all over the place. Like my dad and my parents were like 6 months we move, 6 months we move,
really?
A year we move. Like they were, drug addicts and had a host of problems, marriage problems, and so forth. And long story short, like we moved a lot. So like I never kept friends and stuff,
Right.
But I ended up like that's what ended me up to being like the person that I was at a young age and wanting like the family so bad. But also it's like I didn't really have a bunch of friends to go hang out with anyways. So it was like, I just turned that into wanting, to create that life. And I wanted to be married. I wanted kids. So I didn't want to go out and party. I didn't want to go out and meet chicks. And, like I've had like 6 girlfriends, maybe 7 my whole life. Like,
wow.
Never had a one night stand. Like I've never been with somebody that I wasn't like with.
Wow.
So, I mean, yeah, that's what I was searching for. So it didn't really it didn't change anything. It just solidified it.
Well, I know we were talking a little bit earlier about one of your clips that I had reshared on Instagram, and it kind of got some attention, just your view on marriage and the commitment that's behind it. Mm-hmm. The interesting thing about the clip was the way that, and I mean, we can get into this a little bit, but yeah. The way that it was taken was the 3 seconds or whatever of the clip.
Yeah.
And then I find it really funny how people have no problem commenting about something that they know nothing about. Yeah. In the 5 to 10 seconds that they watched. And I heard some different comments, and I'm like, if you watch the whole clip, what you say actually aligns a lot with what they're arguing that you're not saying. Yeah. So it was really interesting to me.
Yeah, it was interesting as shit to me too, honestly. And I cuss a lot, just so you know. So that's I know you guys don't edit, but
podcast, okay. So
you're
you're not offending me.
Cool.
My first podcast was Blacktop Banter, and he came right out of the gate with fucking blacktop, man. Like so.
Yeah, man. So I don't believe in marriage, and when people hear that, I mean, as you see, they just went off the Richter scale with it, but. No, I mean, at the end of the day, like, marriage is in the heart. Like, all that paper says is you're not going to, you're going to play nice if it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't need that paper, one, because it's going to work out.
Yeah.
And two, because I'm going to do the right thing if it didn't. Like, honestly, like, it's like not even a question to me. I'm not going to waste time. Like if it really happened, and I'll say this so that we could clear the air on that one clip. Like, I would walk into a courtroom and I would just be like, the amount of time that I save my kids of going through this pain is worth everything I have. So just take it. Like, whatever gets this done quick, we're like, let's get on with it. But that's never going to happen because I'm happily married, and I'm going to keep it that way because I'm going to do my part.
Right.
And she's a very smart and loving and an incredible woman. And specifically lately, she's been just fascinating me. She's just been like reminding me how smart she really is. So,
your wife will
I've
do
been married
that.
10
I mean,
years.
my wife does that.
Well, we've had our rocky moments, in our times, and I think that's just part of building any relationship is those pains, and the ups and downs, or the downs, bring you the ups and the pleasures. So, I've learned a lot along the way, just within our marriage, and so I'm able to say that. And like, when she heard it, she even was like, but she knows what I'm saying, and she knows how much,
Well, I mean, isn't relationship, whether it's marriage, whether it's a business or whatever it is, you're going to have the hard times.
Yeah.
I think the difference is when you don't quit and
Exactly.
you push through that. I remember someone once telling me that love is not a feeling. It's a choice. And it's like, I know my wife doesn't always feel like she loves me.
Yeah.
I have my moments, but it's a choice. And I would say, I mean, unless she's listening, I would say vice versa. I don't always feel like I love her, but yet it's a choice.
Yeah.
Because if we go based on our feelings, like, let's just take marriage and relationship out of it in that regard. I don't like to go to work some days. Some days I really don't feel like it, but I know that I have to if I want to succeed and I want to overcome, what it is that is rising up against me today. Yeah. And there will always be something there to face down. But if we continue to press on and push through that and not give up, and you talked about it, not quitting. I mean, I don't even know if you know this, but you quoted Churchill in the beginning when you talked about, failure's only failure if you call it that.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I don't even know who that is, but
World War II. Yeah.
It's the same thing as like depression. It's only depression if you call it depression.
Yeah.
Because we all wake up and not feel right some days. We all wake up and we're sad and or we don't want to go to work, or we're just not, you're just down. We all as humans have that.
Yeah.
And what happens is you go in to see a doctor or a therapist or whatever the hell you call them, and that's how they get paid, is by diagnosing you with something. So when they tell you you're depressed, that's how they get paid. That's like me saying there's cracks in your asphalt, you should replace it. You're damn right. Yeah, your asphalt's shit. Just get it out of here. You're depressed. Here's a prescription. Like, you're not depressed. You're having a bad day. Pick your shit up, pack it up, chin up, chest out, go handle your shit, be a man, go to work, go work out.
You're the second guy I had on the podcast that said handle your shit. So
it's just, it is what it is. I mean, and more men, or boys, I should say, and today, like, just look back, man. Like, look at like the gladiator times and the Viking times. Like, those dudes were in war getting sliced with swords and knives and shit, and dogs biting them and arrows sticking through their heels. And they kept fighting because they had a family to protect. Yeah. And you can't get up off your ass because it's too hard. Like, I'm sorry, I don't have sympathy for that. I really don't. I can't. There's nothing in me that can find sympathy for it. So it's I mean, it's the brutal truth, and it's tough love. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, if you call yourself a man or even a woman, if you just want to call yourself a strong individual, step up to the plate, step up to the line, handle your shit.
Yeah. So I like that. Maybe we should add that to our little tagline. Step up to the line and handle your shit.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you're talking about that, and it's pretty obvious that that people are important to you. You know, like I said, you don't hide anything. In doing research, as we were preparing to get together here and have this conversation, you know, the Melicia mindset. Tell me some about that. I mean, I was wanting to save that till later, but we're really going right into it here. And you just are talking about what different things are. Why is it important to you to talk about stuff like this? Why and what is the Melicia mindset?
So the Melicia mindset is my mentorship program. It's basically, and again, it's under construction. We're still building on it. But it's just everything comes down to a mindset in life.
Yeah.
And it comes down to what I was just saying. Like, it's only depression if you call it depression, because that's your mindset. So, like, you either want to be a victim to whatever is going on, or you want to be a victor to whatever's going on. And I choose victor. So, and that's a mindset.
Michael, what maybe this is edgy, and you could totally kick my ass, so hopefully you got enough wires on you that I could get away in time. Yeah. But in all seriousness, what is your authority to speak to that?
I don't know what that word means. I'm an 8th grade dropout.
Yeah, well, no, what makes it that you can speak to that mindset of having to push through that? Like, I mean, have you had a hard life that you've had to push through?
Nope.
Interesting.
No, I haven't had a hard life because there's always somebody that has a harder life.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's like, again, that's a mindset. So, and that's what the Melicia mindset is you could look at anything in your life and you could say that was hard. Or you could just look at it and say, you know what, that's all you fucking got?
Yeah.
Keep it coming, please. Well, whatever.
We have another can.
Yeah. So anyways, I mean, to clarify on that, most people would say, wow, that was a really hard life. And like my mom, you know, cries to me sometimes and she says she's sorry. And like we just a couple weeks ago, she texted me and was like, you know, I'm really sorry. And I, you know, whatever. And she's always doing it. I'm like, Mom, you gotta like forgive yourself, and you gotta know that I forgive you. More importantly, you gotta move on.
Good for you, Michael.
You know, like she did the best she could, and she did a damn good job because I think I'm a pretty damn good human, and so did my father. And did they have a lot of problems? More than if I talked about a lot of them, it would break your cameras and break the fucking internet. Absolutely. Do I see things at very, very young ages that most kids wouldn't come back from? Absolutely. Most people that I know are dead or in jail or prison, my cousin being one of them, currently. My best friend currently. And the thing about that is they were raised in a very similar way as me, but I looked at everything and realized that, okay, you're going to get the same result as everyone else. You're looking at all these people doing this shit. You're going to get that same fucking result.
Yeah.
You know, so to get something different, you got to do something different. And so that's what I chose to do. But the Melicia mindset is to look at anything in your life and say, you can control it just by the way you talk about it. And I just truly believe that anything in life is a mindset. You know, you have problems in your life, that's an opportunity. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
You're able to fix it because you look at it with that mindset. So that's what it is.
I heard a quote once, and I think it relates to what you're saying. And I don't know, philosopher or historian, I don't remember where I heard it, but basically it said, the thoughts that you allow in your mind will grow into the fruit of the garden of your life. Meaning, if you allow your mind to think, wow, I have a really hard life. This is really bad, or my job is shit, or whatever it is, that will grow into reality.
Exactly.
If you allow it. So you talk about the mindset. Did you always have that mindset, or did something happen in your life that made you realize? You know, and I'm not trying to be invasive here. It's just natural. But like, did something happen in your life, or you always were like, no, I need to just take charge of this, or was there a point where you're like, you know what, I need to take ownership of this. I need to have my mindset to be right for me.
You know, I've been asked that a couple times, and I cannot pinpoint the exact time where it changed or if I was always that way, but I know I wasn't. I might have been that way when I was younger, but then I did go down. So I was from age 12 to 19 or maybe mid 18. I was addicted to opiates, pills, and then on to heroin. And
Wow.
yeah. And so I think honestly coming out of that, because I quit cold turkey, I didn't go to like a rehab or anything. I just locked myself up and quit. And that was, dude, that was fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm saying that, nothing's hard but at the end of the day, it's like, it was hard physically and mentally at the time. And it really, once I broke out of that, I seen like such a light, in this world and within the power of the mind.
Yeah.
Because I was sleeping on my sister's couch still, like I had just wasted 6 years of my life and important years of my life.
Yeah.
And I'm now, an ex-opiate addict and on the couch of my sister's apartment, and she's struggling, and that's when I got that job with the poopy pump thing. And I just realized, though, that how happy I was. I had 2 suitcases to my name, sleeping on a couch, but every day I woke up, and it's kind of corny, but I would read my horoscope every morning. And I would do certain things. Like I was reading a lot of books. I was exercising. I was eating good. Not as good as I do now, but I thought it was good at the time. But it was so much different than what I had been living the last 6 years.
Yeah.
And so I just realized how simple and happy I was, and how much I could sit there and be mad at the world and mad at my parents and mad at this and mad at that. But I was just too happy at the time. And so that kind of just from there, it was like everything was all mindset for me, because in such shitty times, that was all I had,
So with, I get what you're saying about mindset, but you call it a mentoring thing.
Mm-hmm.
So do you, I'm assuming that you feel like mentorship is important.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Well, I could tell you why, because for me, for instance, I didn't really have a mentorship. I did and I didn't. My dad he was a super smart man, and there's nothing worse in this world than wasted talent.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I feel like he wasted a lot of his talent.
Yeah.
And I think he knows that, and I hope that he's proud that I was able to take that from him. And I say that he taught me that, whether he taught me it directly or indirectly, and whether it was just because I was watching what not to do, or whether it was what he was teaching me, that I still haven't figured out.
Yeah.
Did he know something I didn't and was teaching me the way he knew I would learn, which was showing me how bad shit could be, or was it just that I was just smart enough to be paying attention? But at the end of the day, I didn't have anybody to mentor me through a lot of things. I didn't go to school. I didn't really play much sports I was doing drugs in my teens. So
right.
For me, I know what it's like to be alone and have those thoughts and be, confused and discouraged, and also live a struggled childhood. I won't call it hard, but struggled as shit. And all the cards on paper would and I am gonna write a book.
I did see that.
Yeah, so that is on the list to do. But that right there is what, to have all that against you and to still make something of yourself and do certain things. I was able and fortunate enough to do it without mentorship, but I see a lot of people looking at things the wrong way, and it's that's all you need is somebody to show you,
Yeah.
And I think I was shown what not to do, and I think I could show people what to do, I guess.
It's really interesting to me because I think that I've been very blessed with a life of mentorship. I've had people speak into my life like what you're talking about doing, that have shared things with me, and I believe that always being teachable gets you to the next level. Being willing to be self-aware enough to be like, oh, I might not know what I'm doing. Maybe I could learn that. Because I personally, as I was growing up, people would speak into my life and confront things in me, and I didn't want to look at it.
Yeah.
But I knew that they cared about me enough that I was like, well, maybe they're right. And there were so many things, and still to this day, and my wife sees a lot of them that she confronts in me. But it's for me, mentorship was huge in my life. And I really think that's something that's really lacking in our world, in our society, in our culture. I do think it's specifically lacking for young men. But I mean, young people, men, women, whatever. But it's like, and that's even what we're talking about here with the trades is, I talked with you about this a little bit before we got started. You know, I believe if you're saying that there's not people and, you know, you need experienced people, but you're not investing in training the next generation, then you're part of the problem.
Yeah. You are the problem.
Yeah.
You're not part of it. You are.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, so I was actually just talking to one of our foremans about this exact thing, and we were talking about, he was like talking about a certain person, a new person on the team or whatever, on his team, you know, and I reminded him, like, you know, part of the job as a foreman is to create the best team you possibly can.
Yeah.
I was like, look at the, you know, NBA, look at the NFL, you know, and look at the leader of it, you know, whether it's the quarterback or whatever, the coach, whatever you want to compare the foreman to on a team. It's like, that's their job.
Yeah.
You know, so you get a bunch of guys together, you're going to have issues. You're going to have, everyone has different different personalities, different thoughts, different beliefs, whatever. But like, we're here to complete a mission.
Yeah.
And that mission gets done in one way, and that's to have a good team.
Yeah.
And you're only as good as your worst guy.
Yeah.
So as you're sitting here telling me and complaining to me about, you know, your team, you need to look in the mirror, because that's a reflection of you.
Man, that's good.
And I have to create, just like you have to create the best crew on which is your team. We have multiple crews in a company, in an office.
Yeah.
You know, it is a team as a whole. So it's like, it also reflects on me because it's ultimately all comes down to me. It's my team, but then there's teams within the team. And so leadership and leaders, you know, lead by example, and would, you know, need to step up and take that role and take that responsibility of looking at their teammates and their teams that they're putting together, and know that, like, just like, you know, brushing them off or, you know, getting frustrated with, like, none of that. You know, and I do know, like, there's some people that do got it and don't got it. I mean, obviously you got to filter through that, but if you have someone that can add value to your team and you just don't like them, you don't like their personality, dude, take them for a beer after work.
Yeah.
And go get to know him one-on-one. Figure out, maybe he's got some marriage problems at home or whatever. Maybe you could help him out.
Yeah.
But it's like, those are the moments. It's like, the people that I've ever been in, like, an argument or a fight with, I usually end up being, like, really good friends with, you know, like, throughout my life. Like, I think that's just a men's trait.
Yeah.
That's why, like in boxing or whatever, someone kicks your ass, you usually get up and hug it out.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, or if you kick someone's ass, you usually end up hugging them. Like you kind of need that, but you got to be able and smart enough to, like, realize that that's what's going on.
Yeah.
And you just got to connect with people one-on-one and build the best team you can. So yeah, I think I just kind of ranted on that, but yeah, leadership and mentorship is a very big and important thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it comes down to who's leading.
I think it's really cool what you're doing, and I think it's really important. And building teams is something I think that, honestly, when you're where you are in an organization, that's really what it's about. And, you know, everybody's like, oh, I want to be the boss, or I want to be the guy in charge, but you need to recognize that statement that you just made.
Yeah.
You're only as good as the worst member of your team. And I would even go a step farther and to say, if they are the worst member of your team, that's on you.
Yeah, there you go.
Because you're the one, I mean, like you said, it's your job, and you're the one that's investing in training and teaching them.
Yeah.
And you talked about, you know, books and reading. That's another thing that I think that I've learned. I was just talking with a guy recently, and he was just saying to me he had gotten started in reading more. And that was one of the big things that changed my life. It's just the more that I read, the more that I learn, the more that I, you know, different business books, different just whatever. I think that's something that I'm excited to hear that you're writing a book, because it's probably something that I would read. So,
well, thank you.
Yeah.
It's I barely know how to read and write, so it should be fun. But we live in 2024, so
this is true. This is true.
But,
so,
yeah,
just to change it up a little bit here, and there's so much that I want to talk about with you, because you have a very rich story. Like, you got a lot going on. You're not just a paving company, but I even connect with the fact I find it really interesting. You're from California. and you also have a utility excavation company, which I find that intriguing because that's something that in my world that I used to do when I was younger, and it's just really interesting to me because I wouldn't correlate the two, and you're doing both of those. So
yeah, paving and utility and excavation and so forth.
Yeah, how did that come about that you're doing both of those? Are you doing all right? I know you're California cold right now. I mean,
oh, that's all right. The goosebumps are they're fine.
Yeah. I can see them from over here. We shouldn't record in 4K.
Yeah, it's all good. Like I said, what was it? Step up to the plate and handle your shit.
Yeah.
We're good. No, yeah. So the way it came about was actually I was watching other companies around me, and kind of goes back to, you know, what you do is the result you'll get.
Yeah.
And so I was watching what like just the paving company, just the paving companies were doing, and they were good and cool and, you know, whatever. And then I was looking at like the bigger companies that were doing everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, why? So then I kept watching them and started like figuring out who they were working for, and then I started getting my foot in the door with those same people. And it dawned on me, like it wasn't, I was already chasing it before I even knew why I was chasing it.
Yeah.
But then it dawned on me once I kind of got in or almost in, I was like, oh, okay. So the pipe breaks under the ground. You got to dig it up. Fucks the ground up. You got to pull it all out. Then you got to fix the pipe. And then you got to backfill it. And you got to grade it. And then you got to pave it or concrete it back. So if I'm going to sit here and just pave and concrete and stuff, why would I not create my own work?
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're not creating your own work, but you essentially, you know, are. Like when a pipe needs to be fixed, or if it explodes underground, a pipe burst, a water burst, water main break, it does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And when you're the one that's fixing the pipe, you're the one that fixes the damage.
Yeah.
So it was basically just a way to create and, you know, make more money.
So it was a pretty easy transition. You would either have to hire someone to do it or you do it yourself.
Yeah, so I actually don't really know the first thing about pipes and like that type of stuff. I grew up doing more like seal coats and patches.
Okay.
So I wasn't even doing like big paving. We like a driveway was like, and with a Malden hopper paver was like a big job with me growing up. And I think back on that, and I'm like, damn, I was like 12 years old and I was sitting on the ledge where the hopper was up. And I'm like, what if the fucking hydraulics gave out and the hopper just slammed? Like, I think of so many things. Like, we were backyard boogie when I grew up. And so, anyways, I don't know where I was going with that. But, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
You said you didn't know anything about
yeah.
water pipes or whatever.
Yes, that's what I grew up doing. But I realized that, you know, if you don't know something, you can hire it.
Yeah.
And that's basically been the formula for everything that coastal paving has become.
Yeah.
Because I still, to this day, like I can somewhat read plans, but you show me a set of like real plans with like elevations and all kinds of shit, I can't read it.
Yeah.
Like I can kind of read certain things, but I'm not the plan guy by any means. So I don't know how to read plans. I don't know how to build water mains. I don't know how to, you know, really do excavation grading, you know, for like house pads and
Right.
whatnot. But I could hire people that know how to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what I've done.
Well, I can relate to that a little bit in the sense of, you know, we're being recorded here on camera, and these guys, you know, are taking all the footage and doing all the things so that this isn't a waste of our time.
Yeah.
And I have no idea how to do any of it.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't even begin to know what to do. So, well, I did do some research, and I read this about you that you love pranks.
Yeah.
Is that so? That's accurate.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I have a question. What is the best prank that you think you've ever done?
The ones that have not been seen by the internet.
Okay.
We actually just did one. I'll give you a good one. It was done to me actually. My fucking guys. They paid this guy, I think, or whatever. Somehow they got this guy to come up, and we were on a job, and he comes up and he's like all distraught. He's like, some guy just fucking ran over my dog, man. And he's like, you know, he's really selling it. Like this guy needs to be an actor in Hollywood.
Wow.
He's like sad, you know, and I'm like, I'm so thrown off. And honestly, I was like in paving mode. So I wasn't in like CEO or president mode or anything or manager mode. I was like kind of like prick mode at the time, paving prick mode.
I'm like, that's what paving mode is prick mode?
Kind of, yeah, a little bit. That's, yeah. So I'm like, so what do you mean? And he's like, I was like, are you saying a coastal truck hit your dog? And he's like, yeah, man, my dog, I was like, is it okay? He's like, no, it's dead. And I'm like, oh, fucking, hey, I'm sorry. Where did he get hit? He's like, right here. I was like, wait, in the construction site? Because we're at like cones, traffic, like it's a full blown, like we're on the street. And he's like, yeah, right here. I'm like, well, what are you doing in a construction site? Don't you see the signs that says not to walk through?
So you think his dog died, and you are in prick mode then? Because you're okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I basically kind of cared about the dog at the time, and I'm like animals. I have a suit. Like I don't kill animals. My wife kills the bugs in the house. Like I do not hurt animals. But it was very insensitive at the time. But long story short, my foreman who was playing the prank on me comes up and he starts like talking and he's like, Michael, I'll just drive him down to the SPCA right now. Like, you know, we'll go pick him out another dog and blah, blah, blah. I got expensive taste. I can get him the good dog. Long story short, I'm like, yeah, they got me. It was a prank. It was a prank and it never made it. Yeah. But it never hit the internet because like, I was like, fuck, like that could really get turned into, because we do public works. We do municipalities and stuff and everything's big safety culture. So it's like, I was like, yeah, that could really not be seen in a good light. So.
Michael, I don't know if you realize this or not, but we're going to put this on the internet.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's fine to talk about.
Sure.
But I mean, that's why podcasts are so good because you could talk in the longer form and you can explain things.
Right.
But like somebody could take that and they could clip it into
a 15-second
coastal
clip.
paving ran over a dog.
Yeah.
Not the best, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. But see, and this is actually good because now they can see that I actually didn't post it, and that's how, you know.
That's good.
Okay. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So we've gotten pretty far into this, and I've totally missed some of the timing of wanting to ask you some different questions. But for now, with where we are right now, we're going to kind of hit some of these rapid fire.
Mm-hmm.
What is a tool or piece of gear that you just cannot live without that you have to have?
My wife's instruction manual.
Your what? So you found that?
Yeah.
Really? All right. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a lifesaver. Once I found the manual, it's just yeah.
You do need to write a book, my friend. You do need to write a book if you've got that figured out.
No, I don't. Tool I can't live without, obviously a paving machine.
Okay.
Yeah. Simple.
This one is a little bit of a gimme, but favorite hard hat?
The one I have currently, Lift carbon fiber black hard hat.
So I kind of knew that. That's actually what I have right here.
Okay.
I've been wearing hard hats all my life.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the carbon fiber. It's so lightweight.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I absolutely love it.
Super comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I just got a new one for podcasts. Actually, I left it at home though, so
okay.
I'm gonna start doing them with the hard hat on.
That's pretty. Yeah. Okay. Well, I did one that way.
Did you?
Yeah. It was different.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So we talked about a lot of different things here. I also saw that USA Today.
Yeah.
You're one of the entrepreneurs of 2024 to be watching.
Yes, sir.
So I don't know if that's a good thing or if that's a bad thing. If they're like, you know, what's going to happen or.
Yeah,
that was like, me trying to be funny. Okay.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Did you at least laugh or something?
I caught it. I caught it. My bad. No, it was.
That's a pretty big deal, dude.
Thank you.
I mean, when I saw you post it, I thought it was a prank.
Really? But
then I looked it up and I was like, wow. I mean, but that's something to be proud of. That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
So
yeah, there's actually another one that was the USA, you said?
That was USA Today, yeah.
Yeah, and then there was E News or whatever one.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So with that, since you're gaining in popularity and becoming famous, and you are. I looked on your website and you're the creator of Site Talk.
I am that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The creator of Site Talk.
Yeah.
If you don't know what Site Talk is, you need to check him out on Instagram. So, but with that, since you're famous now, it's a great time to ask, what is a mistake that you have made in life, or at work or whatever, that you feel like you were able to learn from that would benefit other people to hear about? Earlier I said you could pass, but again, it's going on the internet.
I mean, I have a lot of them, honestly. I've made so many mistakes and I've learned so much. But to keep it more career-based, I would say you don't get paid for what you do. Or no, I'm sorry, excuse me. You don't do what you get paid. You get paid for what you've done.
Wow.
So what I mean by that is everyone's looking for a raise, in their job, right? We'll just leave it there. We'll talk about a job. Everyone's looking for a raise. And they are going to ask for that raise.
Yeah.
But the thing about that is if you just go and ask for a raise, what have you done to deserve that raise? Have you done anything different?
Yeah.
And people think that they're, well, no, because I don't get paid to do that. Not my job. I don't get paid to do that. Well, anyone who is made it, or anyone who has, done very well, or anyone who's, climbing ladders, at some point is working for free in ways. You know, look at a football player. They weren't getting paid when they were in high school and college working their ass off.
Yeah.
But now they're getting paid for what they've done.
Ooh.
So for anybody that's looking to level up in their career or life or make more money just in general, start doing something that may not pay you now, but is going to pay you later.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, that's kind of what I think a lot of this is. You never really know. I mean, and that's part of it. Like, you may just waste your time and you may not get paid ever. Or you may get paid for what you've done. But you ain't going to get paid for what you've done if you've never done it. So start doing it and you'll end up getting paid for it, I guarantee it. Well, I don't guarantee it because,
there are no guarantees.
There is no guarantees. But
man, if this is the kind of stuff that's going to be in the book, this is going to be a good book. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, hey, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us here tonight. So I think that you're someone who is stepped up to the line, and that's what the line is about. The line is about lifting the view of the skilled trades and talking about real and authentic people and real and authentic things. And so, Michael Melicia, you're one of the entrepreneurs in USA Today to watch and pay attention to. And he dropped some really deep stuff here tonight that we're talking about. And I mean, even that last thing that you just said, that is the real deal. I mean, I can't tell you how many different guys that I've talked to over the years that they're like, I want to make X, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. And I literally heard a foreman say to a young man the other day, and he's like, well, if you want to do that, then you do that work, and then you'll eventually get paid for that. Yeah. And I think that those simple things aren't all that complicated, but that's what we're trying to talk about here. Yeah. That's what we're trying to, and even through podcasts and honest conversations, we're trying to mentor and have those conversations that we wouldn't normally have access to. Yeah. And so I really appreciate you taking the time away from your family and coming here and spending this time with us and whoever might be listening. And so be paying attention to Michael Melicia, where your camera, I believe, is right there. So where can people follow you? Where can they check you out online?
So Michael_A_Melicia, long ass handle. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. LinkedIn is just like a professional page. There's nothing, it's just LinkedIn. But so there's those, and then meliciamindset.com. You can subscribe to the mentorship program, weekly call, and some other stuff in there. And then, so meliciamindset.com. Melicia Co. is where the merch is. And that's pretty much it. Social media, internet, and or text me.
Awesome.
I dropped my cell phone number many times. So someone has a question, 831-402-7998.
Okay. Well, that's pretty authentic. He's just saying it right there. We really appreciate your time. We really appreciate what you were saying. And step up to the line. Thank you very much.
Handle your shit.
And handle